kindergartners. I hope you guys are having a great day today. My name is Miss Shalor, and today we are going to be working on some phonics, just like you did in your classroom when we were all together. And today we're going to be working on some letters and sounds. We're going to work on skywriting and writing our letters on our foundations board. And then at the very end, we are going to work on tapping out and stretching out our words, some CVC words. Remember, as always, you're going to need a pencil and a piece of paper for our video today, but you won't need those things until the very end, so you have some time to go gather your materials really quickly. We are just going to go ahead and get started right away today. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to practice some letters and sounds. So I'm going to say the letter and its sound, and you are going to listen first. And I'm going to show you a motion that goes with it as well. And then I'm going to point at you, and that means that it's your turn to say the letter and its sound the same way that I did. So I'll say them slowly so you can really listen and hear exactly how it sounds. Our first letter is F, fun. V, van. Y, yellow. Yeah. S, snake. H, hat. O, octopus. Ah. U, up. I, itch. I. A, apple. E, ed. And those are all of our sounds for today. I hope you guys were able to follow along and repeat after me when I pointed at you guys. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to practice skywriting and writing our letters on some paper. So how this is going to work is I am going to show you and tell you first, and you're just going to listen. Then we're going to write it on our board together. And then at the end, we're going to practice skywriting it with our super straight arms. Remember, we don't want any T-Rex arms today. We want them to be super straight so we can be able to tell where we're pointing on the board. We're going to do 5 letters today. Our first letter that we're going to practice is the letter H. So I'm going to turn my body so I'm pointing at the board, and I'm going to tell you how to form the letter, and you're just going to listen first. So H is a skyline letter, so remember that means we start at the skyline, point to the skyline, go down to the grass line, trace back up to the plane line, and make a hump. H, hat. Now I want you to go ahead and grab your pencil and your paper, and you are going to take your pencil and you are going to write with me. So how this is going to work is I'm going to say and do it, and then you're going to copy that motion after me, and then we'll finish the letter. And I will point at you when it's your turn to write on your paper. So first you're going to watch, and then you're going to do. So point to the skyline, go down to the grass line. Trace back up to the plane line and make a hump. H, hat. Awesome job, my friends. There is our H. And the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to say the whole thing all together with our super straight arms. And we're going to point at the skyline to start with. Remember, we don't want T-Rex arms, super straight arms. So point to the skyline, go down to the grass line, trace back up to the plane line and make a hump. H, hat. Awesome job. I'm going to erase my H and we are going to move on to the next letter. Remember, first you listen, and I'm going to show you, and then we'll do it together. So point to the skyline, trace back on the skyline, then way down to the grass line. Cross it at the plane line. F, fun. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take our pencils. I'm going to say the part first, and then you are going to copy me. So we're going to start at the skyline, point to the skyline, trace back on the skyline, and then go all the way down to the grass line. Then cross it on the plane line. F, fun. Awesome job, my friends. We are going to lastly skywrite it. So we're going to say it all together. You can say it at the same time as me. We're going to start at the skyline, trace back on the skyline, and go all the way down to the grass line. Cross it at the plane line. F, fun. Awesome job, my friends. I'm going to erase my F, and then we are going to go ahead and do the next letter. Our next letter is going to be S for snake. And I'm going to show you how to do it first, and you're just going to watch and listen. So point to the plane line, trace back, and it curves in and goes back again and lands on the grass line. S, snake. Okay, now you're going to repeat after me. Point to the plane line, trace back, and it curves in and goes back and lands on the grass line. S, snake. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and take our super straight arms and skywrite it. Point to the plane line, trace back, and it curves in and goes back again and lands on the grass line. S, snake. Okay, I'm going to erase that S, and we're going to move on to our next letter. Our next letter today is going to be V, van. Remember, you're just going to watch me first. We're going to point to the plane line, slide down to the grass line, slide up to the plane line. V, van. Okay, now you're going to repeat after me. Point to the plane line, slide down to the grass line, and slide back up to the plane line. V, van. Okay, let's take our super straight arms. We're going to point to the plane line, slide down to the grass line, slide up to the plane line. V, van. Okay, I'm going to erase my V, and we are going to do our last letter for the day. So remember, you're just going to watch me first. Point to the plane line, slide down to the grass line, leave a space and point to the plane line, slide back all the way down to the worm line. Y, yellow, yeah. Okay, now you're going to repeat after me. So I will do part of it and then I'll point to you for your turn. Point to the plane line, slide down to the grass line, point to the plane line but leave a space and slide all the way down to the worm line. Y, yellow, yeah. Great job, my friends. Go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. I know that was a lot of hard work with writing our letters and skywriting. You guys did an amazing job following along. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. And we played this game last week. And what we do is I say a sound, and you are going to look around your room or wherever you are and see if you can find something that starts with the sound that I say. So I will say, I spy something that starts with a blank, and you're going to go find that. You can either go grab it or you can point to it. You're not going to have very much time, so it might be easier for you to just point at whatever it is. And then Miss Shore is going to tell you what I saw in my home. And then we're going to see if maybe we found the same thing, but maybe we didn't because we all have different things in our houses. So I'm going to say, I spy something that starts with the sound. And now I'm going to let you go and point to that item or grab that item. I'm going to count down from 10. Something that starts the sound. Okay, my friends, come on back. Hopefully you either grab something or you're pointing to something. I'm pointing to something in front of me that starts with the sound. And the thing that I found is a mouse. And don't worry, it's not a real mouse because I would be scared if it was. It's just a toy mouse because I have some cats in my home and they really like to play with their toy mice. I hope you were able to find something that started with the sound as well. Okay, we're going to do another one. I spy something with my little eye that starts with the D sound. It starts with the D sound. Okay, 10. And 0. Come on back, my friends. Hopefully you're pointing or you found something. I found something in my house that is next to me, and I'll show it to you because it's right here. And it starts with the D sound. And the thing that I found is this giant donut. And it's actually a pool toy that I have sitting next to me. So I found a donut for the D sound. Awesome job, my friends. We're going to do one more item. I spy something with my little eye that starts with the G sound. It starts with the G sound. 10. 3. And 0, my friends. Come on back. Hopefully you found something. I found something and it's pointing, I'm pointing to it right here. That starts with the G sound. And my item was a guitar. G for guitar. I hope you were able to find your things. I want you to go put those things back. We don't want to leave messes in our houses. So if you grabbed your items, I want you to go put them back really quickly. And then we'll go ahead and move on to our next activity. So I'll give you 10 seconds to go put your things away. 10, 5. Okay, my friends, come on back. The last thing that we are going to do today is we're going to tap out some words. So last week we practiced reading words and writing words. Today for our video, we're going to practice reading words. So I'm going to move my letters that I have right here, and I'm going to make 3-letter words. So here we go. Our first word is going to start with the letter G. Okay, hopefully I can get them to stick today. There we go. We got them to stick. We're going to tap this one out together for the first one, and then I'm going to give you some chances to do it on your own on the other ones. So for this first one, I want you to put your elbow up. We don't want it down here because then it's hard to tap out. We want it up nice and high next to our head. And we're going to have a high 5. And remember, when we tap out, our thumb goes in front, and we use our fingers, these 3 fingers right here, to tap for each sound. So watch me. and then we'll do it together. G, gum. So hopefully you watched me do it, and now let's do it together. Hands up with me. G, gum. Do you know what word that is? Think in your head. That was the word gum, like we chew gum. Awesome job. Okay, my friends, our next word is going to start with the letter H. And I'm going to let you try and do this one on your own today. So here's our word. And I'm going to point and tap, but I'm not going to say the sounds this time. You're going to say the sounds. And then at the end, after I let you try and figure out what it says, then I'll say the sounds with you and we can see what word we came up with. So here we go. Okay, I want you to think in your head, what word could it be? Okay, now we're going to do it together. Here we go. Hut. Ooh, did you hear it? Hut. I know what the word is. It is hut, like a hut that you can go inside of. Awesome job. We're going to do 3 more words today. We're going to put these letters back. And our next word that we're going to do is going to start with the letter B. Okay, so I'm going to point and tap, but I'm not going to use my voice. You are going to use your voice while I tap so you can try and figure out what the word is. Here we go, let's get started. Think in your head, what could the word be? Remember, if you need to tap it out again without me, go ahead so you can try and figure out that word. Okay, now let's do it together. B-a-g, bug. Ooh, think one more time. What is our word? Okay, one more time. B-a-g, bug. Our word was bug, like there's a bug outside, or oh no, there's a bug in my house. Great job, my friends. We're going to do one more word. Our last word is going to start with a B again and a U, but we're going to change our ending sound to an S. Go ahead and sound it out. Think in your head. Okay, now let's do it together. Bus. Did you hear it? One more time. Bus. I know what it is. It is a bus, like we ride the bus to school. Awesome job, my friends. You guys did such a great job today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Ms. Zhang and I am a kindergarten teacher here at Silver Lake Elementary within Federal Way. I am here to do a kindergarten math lesson with you all, so thank you for joining. All right, so our learning target for today, I'm getting ready to share it in just a second. All right, so our learning target, it says, I can count on from a known number when one more is added to the group. So, for example, if I had four chips of some sort, four counters of some sort, and if I just add one more, for some reason I'm just given one more, I know I have four, and I'm given one more. How many counters do I have now? So your task to meet our learning target for today is to not count them all over, but to know, oh, I had four, and then one more was added. How many do I have? And hopefully you come to the conclusion that after four comes five. So if I'm adding just one more, I know that I now have 5 counters. All right, so that's our learning target for today's lesson. All right, so we're about to jump into our math lesson for today, our little math activity. What I want you to do, there are some materials that I would like for you to grab. The first thing is a piece of paper or something to write on. Actually, if you notice, this is a whiteboard. So if you have a whiteboard, that works great. But if not, a piece of paper, scrap paper, anything like that. It does not have to be a full blank paper either. Just any space that you can write on would be great. And then along with that, you need a writing utensil, a marker, a crayon, colored pencil, anything that you have and that you can use. So you're going to use both of these things. And then you're also going to need some counters. So whatever you can find around your house that you can use as counters. I was lucky enough to be able to go back to my classroom, and I have some of these like squares that I use as counters. But of course you can use anything that you have. It could be cereal if you're comfortable using that. It could be pieces of paper that you ripped up, something that you have a lot of and that you can use and move around and count with. Okay, so while you are getting that, I'm going to get set up to show you what we're going to use those for. So I have to get prepared to share my screen. All right, I'm going to zoom out. So again, I'm using a whiteboard. You're more than welcome, like a piece of paper or anything is perfect. All right, so with that whiteboard or with that paper and your writing utensil, you're going to first draw a rectangle. And if you remember, a rectangle has, 2 sides longer than the other 2 sides. Oh, and it does not have to be perfect. If you notice, my rectangle is not perfect at all. All right, so I'm debating whether or not to restart, but I'm not going to. What you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil again, and you're going to cut this rectangle in half. So you're going to draw a line just straight through like this, or wherever my finger was. You're just going to draw it straight through like that. So now you should have 2 rectangles on top of each other. All right, after that, what I need you to do is we're going to break these up into 10 squares. So you're going to be drawing, it's a little confusing, you're going to draw 4 lines just like me, so just follow along. What we are making is a 10 frame, which you may or may not remember. It is a frame that has 10 squares in it, actually. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, draw a line here, draw here, there, and that one. So your goal is you want 10 squares. So if you can go ahead and count with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 squares. Do you have 10 squares? If not, do whatever changes you need. This is our 10 frame that we're going to use for our activity. So let me talk about our activity really quickly. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be reading this book called The Napping House. Some of you may be familiar with this one as well. I know I read it to my students throughout the year. This is The Napping House, and this is a book about a house where there are a lot of people who are napping, not just people, but also animals. If you notice, there's a cat there and a dog. And what we're going to be doing is I need you to keep track of how many animals or people who are on the bed sleeping, okay? So, and the way that we're going to keep track of them is we're going to be using our 10 frame that we just made, and we're going to be using our counters that you grabbed and collected. So every time you hear someone else or something else on the bed, you need to add another counter to keep track of it. So I'm just going to tell you, I know Grandma is sleeping on the bed. So this counter right here represents Grandma, okay? And then every time someone else joins the bed, you need to keep track of that. So if one more person is on the bed, you got to add one more counter. And then I'm going to be asking you how many people are on the bed. But here's the tricky part. If you remember our learning target, here, let me see if I can go back to it. Our learning target was about counting on. It says count on from a known number when one more is added. So in this book, one more person gets added to the bed, okay? So we have to make sure, that we are keeping track and just counting on rather than counting all of them all over. And what I mean by that is if I have I have two counters right now, okay? Maybe we can see 1, 2. And if I had one more, how many do I have? I don't want you. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you, and this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, and I want you to practice this, okay? I don't want you to start counting over. I don't want you to go 1, 2, 3. But rather I want you to know, oh, I have 2 already, and then I added one more. I added this yellow one. So how many do I have now? After 2 comes 3. Oh, so I have 3 counters. Notice how I didn't count them, right? I didn't count them. I just thought about what comes after 2. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing throughout our book. All right, so we are reading The Napping House by Audrey Wood and Dawn Wood. All right, so remember, as we are finding out who is napping, make sure you're keeping track and using your counters or your trackers or whatever on your 10 frame. All right, and challenge yourself. Don't, when I'm asking how many people are on the bed, think about what is one more, okay, or however many more. Try not to count all of your counters all over again, okay? And try not to count how many people are on the bed all over again. Use that skill and think about our learning target about counting on when it comes to one more. All right, the napping house. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. And in that house, there is a bed, a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that bed, there is a granny, a snoring granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. All right, did you keep track? Who's on the bed right now? Who's sleeping on the bed? This one's a little bit easy, but how many people are on the bed now? Yeah, I'm looking at my 10 frame. Let me show you in a second. I have 1 counter to count for Granny. And on that Granny, there is a child, a dreaming child on a snoring Granny on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. How many people are on the bed now? Think to yourself, one more, only one more person is being added, right? One more than how many we had before. One more than one is 2, and your 10 frame should match that. And on that child, there is a dog, a dozing dog, and a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. All right, how many people are on the bed now? Or how many people and animals are on the bed now? Without recounting all of them. Yeah, one more than 2 is 3. Nice job. And on that dog, there is a cat, a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now, how many people are sleeping on the bed? One more than 3 is 4. Nice job. And on that cat, there is a mouse, a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming cat, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Don't forget to take your counters. How many people or animals are on the bed now? One more than 4 is, nice job, 5. You're so right, it's 5. And on that mouse, there is a flea. Can it be a wakeful flea? On a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. All right. Although the flea is not asleep, he is on top of the mouse. So we're going to count that, okay? So make sure you added one more to your counter. This is what mine looks like right now. So how many animals or people are on the bed now? We just had 5 before the flea. So if we have 5 and we add one more, it should be 6. Nice job. Nice job, especially if you were thinking about our learning target where we're just adding or we're just counting on. Just counting on. All right, now this is where the fun happens. It says, a wakeful flea who bites the mouse. So now, is the mouse asleep anymore? I think I would get woken up if a flea bit me. So what you need to do is you need to start taking counters off because they're not sleeping anymore. So take one off because the flea is now off the bed. And now who else is off the bed? The mouse. So make sure you take another one off. How many people are on the bed now? Or how many people are creatures? We should be 4. We should be at 4. Who scares the cat? Who claws the dog? Who thumps the child? Who bumps the granny? Who breaks the bed? In the napping house where no one now is sleeping. All right, nice job. That was the napping house. All right, everyone, I hope you had fun following along and keeping track of how many animals or people were on the bed. Our learning target was about counting on and adding one more. So if you were able to keep track of how many animals and creatures were on the bed, you met our learning target. So hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.
Hola niñas y niños, ¿cómo están? Qué gusto verlos de nuevo. ¿Cómo estuvo el fin de semana? ¿Lo disfrutaron? ¿Lo pasaron bien? Qué entretenido. Bienvenidos a una nueva semana de aprendizaje. ¿Están listos? Igual que la semana pasada, esta semana vamos a aprender matemáticas 4 días. Lunes, martes, miércoles y jueves. Y como todas las semanas, vamos a comenzar con nuestro calendario. ¿Qué día es hoy? ¿Qué mes es hoy? ¿Hace frío? ¿Hace calor? Lo veremos a continuación. ¿Están listos? Aquí vamos. Ok, bienvenidos a nuestra quinta lección. Quinta significa número 5. Ya hemos hecho 5 lecciones, ¿cierto? ¿Qué necesitamos para el día de hoy? Necesitamos, como todos los días, papel y lápiz. Si alguno de ustedes tiene una pizarrita y un marcador, también está perfecto. Cualquier tipo de lápiz, crayola que puedan utilizar para resolver ecuaciones está excelente. Y vamos a recordar qué hicimos la semana pasada. La semana pasada aprendimos a sumar con números hasta el 10. ¿Recuerdan? Aquí dice sumar con números hasta el 10. Y aprendimos nuestra palabra sumar y usábamos nuestro cuerpo para decir sumar es juntar. Excelente. Y también aprendimos a restar. Y también utilizamos esta palabra con nuestro cuerpo para recordarlo. Restar es quitar. ¿Cómo aprendimos a hacer esto? Aprendimos utilizando objetos. Recuerdan, utilizamos pelotas de básquetbol, pelotas de fútbol. También utilizamos nuestros dedos, ¿cierto? Nuestras manos para decir 2 y 2 son 4. O 5 menos 2 son 1, 2 y 3. Y también utilizamos ecuaciones numéricas, como por ejemplo 5 más 3 es igual a 8 y lo podíamos comprobar con nuestros dedos. 5 más 3 es igual a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 y 8. Excelente. Entonces, para el día de hoy, nuestra meta, ¿qué meta es nuestro objetivo? ¿Qué es lo que queremos aprender hoy? Es a entender la relación. Relación quiere decir que tiene que ver esto con esto. Dos cosas. Relación entre los números y las cantidades, ¿ok? ¿Cómo vamos a lograr esta meta? La vamos a lograr, conectando objetos con el número que corresponde. Como por ejemplo, acá vemos un sol, 2 sol, 3 sol y lo conectamos con el número 3. Porque hay 3 objetos, 3 soles, lo conectamos con el número 3. Pero también vamos a aprender diciendo los nombres de los números, ¿ok? Como este dice 3, también se escribe 3. ¿Están listos? Aquí vamos con nuestro primer ejercicio. Este se ve un poquito fácil. Nuestra pregunta del día de hoy es, ¿cuántas manzanas hay? Pensemos todos. ¿Cuántas manzanas hay? Vamos a cambiar nuestro lápiz. ¿Y cuántas manzanas hay? Vamos a ir contando. 1, 2, 3 y 4. Pero para estar bien seguros, vamos a relacionar cada manzana con un número. Si yo digo una manzana, ya sabemos qué número corresponde aquí. Entonces, el número 1. 1 y 2, entonces corresponde el número 2. Otra vez, cuenten conmigo. 1, 2, 3. Aquí corresponde el número 3. Nuevamente. 1, 2, 3. ¿Cuál viene ahora? El 4. Excelente, el número 4. Por lo tanto, cuando nos preguntan cuántas manzanas hay, el número que vamos a poner aquí en el total es el último número que contamos. Contemos otra vez. 1, 2, 3, 4. Por lo tanto, el total es, ¿cuántas manzanas hay? Hay 4 manzanas. Excelente. ¿Y cómo se escribe el número 4? ¿Quién sabe? Escríbalo en su papel todos. ¿Listos? Vamos. Cuatro. ¿Ya lo escribieron? Comprobemos si están en lo correcto. ¿Listos? Es una C, letra C. ¿Estabas en lo correcto? Excelente. ¿Cuál viene después? Q. La letra U. Q, A. Y la última sílaba, tro. 4. ¿Lo escribieron bien? Excelente trabajo. Sigamos trabajando. Ahora hay más manzanas. ¿Cuántas manzanas hay ahora? Vamos a utilizar la misma estrategia que delante. Vamos a contar y lo vamos a relacionar con el número que corresponda. Una manzana, escribimos una. 2 manzanas, escribimos el número 2. 3 manzanas, 4 manzanitas verdes, 5 manzanitas. ¿Cuál vendrá ahora? Otra vez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 manzanas y 7. Entonces, al ponerle números, no me voy a equivocar y ya sé que cada manzanita corresponde a un número más. Entonces, cuando me preguntan cuántas manzanas hay ahora, vamos a poner el total. ¿Y qué número pongo? ¿Este o este o este? No, siempre utilizamos el último número que ahora, en este caso, es el 7. Excelente. ¿Están listos para escribir 7? Tomen su lápiz y su papel. Vamos. 7. 7. Escriban ustedes. Sí. ¿Ya lo escribieron? Comprobemos. ¿Qué letra será la primera? La letra S. Excelente. Sie. Está la primera sílaba. Sie. T. Y la última, 7. Buen trabajo. Ok, ¿qué tenemos que hacer aquí? ¿Qué creen ustedes que tenemos que hacer aquí? Tenemos que unir las cantidades de manzana con el número que corresponde, con la cantidad correspondiente. Vamos a contar entonces nuestras manzanas. 1, 2, 3 y 4. 4. ¿Cuál de estos es el número 4? ¿Es este? Este. 2, no. 4. 4 manzanas. Las voy a relacionar con el número 4, que es el que corresponde. Y para estar bien seguro les voy a poner 1, 2, 3 y 4. Buen trabajo. Ahora en estas pongámosles números para ver cuál de las dos opciones corresponde. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 y 6. ¿Será esta o esta? ¿Cuál es el número 6? Muy bien. 6 manzanas y así se escribe 6. Y la última que nos queda, una manzana y 2 manzanas. Y es la última opción también, 2 manzanas y con el número 2. Wow, han trabajado excelentemente bien, chicas y chicos. Nos merecemos un descanso con nuestra adivinanza del día. ¿Están listos? Voy a leer y ustedes van a escuchar. Después, si quieren, pueden leerla conmigo y después pensamos y damos nuestra respuesta. ¿Listos? Redondo soy. Si estoy a la derecha, algo valgo, pero si estoy a la izquierda, soy nada. A ver, si estoy a la derecha, soy redondo. Leamos todos juntos. ¿Listos? Lean conmigo. Redondo soy. Si estoy a la derecha, algo valgo, pero si estoy a la izquierda, soy nada. ¿Ya saben la respuesta? A ver, veamos, voy a sacar la estrella a ver si están en lo correcto. ¿Ya tienen una pista? ¿Sí? ¿Ya lo pueden ver? Exactamente, es el número 0. Por eso decía redondo. Pongan su dedito en el aire, vamos a dibujar el número 0. ¿Listos? 1, 2, 3. 0. Muy bien. Nuestra siguiente actividad. Dice, sigamos contando y practicando. Compré unos carritos y me llegaron en esta caja. Los saqué y los ordené, pero no sé cuántos hay. ¿Están listos para ayudarme? Okay. Vamos a cambiar de color y le vamos a ir poniendo número a estos carritos. 1, 2 autos, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 y... Ups, me quedaron un poquito grandes. 9 carros, 9 autos venían en esta caja, 9 autos verdes. Por lo tanto, el total, ¿recuerdan? Exactamente, ¿será el 6? ¿Será el 4? No, siempre es el último número que contamos. Por lo tanto, en la caja venían 9 carritos. ¿Y están listos para escribir el nombre? Nueve. ¿Cuál será la primera letra? Correcto, escríbalo ustedes. N. Nu. E. B. 9 carros. 9 autos de color verde. Y han hecho un excelente trabajo, pero ya ha llegado la hora de despedirnos. Vamos a practicar y vamos a ver qué fue lo que aprendimos el día de hoy. ¿Están listos? Lean conmigo. Dice, ¿qué aprendimos hoy? Hoy aprendimos a contar. Ups, le vamos a cambiar para poder. Hoy aprendimos a contar y conectar números con la cantidad y el nombre correspondiente. Vamos a borrar esta línea roja y hoy aprendimos a contar y a conectar. ¿Cierto? Contábamos nuestros objetos y lo conectábamos con el número y el nombre correspondiente. Como vemos aquí, 1 manzana, 2 manzanas, 3 manzanas, 4 manzanas, 5 manzanas. Por lo tanto, el total es 5. 5 manzanas en total. ¿Y cómo lo hacemos para poder asegurarnos que lo hicimos correcto? Podemos poner los nombres, escribir los números, ¿cierto? 1 manzana, 2 manzanas, 3 manzanas, 4 manzanas y 5 manzanas. Excelente, niños. Ha llegado la hora de despedirnos. Nos veremos mañana con otra entretenida lección de matemáticas. Seguiremos aprendiendo a conectar, pero números más grandes. ¿Están listos? Quiero que practiquen en casa. Busquen sus juguetes, pueden ser Legos. Cuenten los Legos, los van poniendo y van escribiendo el número a ver cuántos tienen en su colección, hasta qué número pueden llegar. Puede ser algún otro juguete, sus carritos, pueden contar sus carritos o pueden contar algunas muñecas, cuántas tienen en casa o cualquier tipo, frijoles, contar y poner los números, a ver cuántos hay, los pueden agrupar y los pueden contar y mañana me cuentan, ¿les parece? Nos vemos mañana con otra lección. Que tengan un excelente día. Adiós.